Good day, Ma'am Joy. I am Lovely Claire Manlangit, and I will be discussing together with May and Janetta relating to the Module 8 in Retail Management. The objectives of this module includes discussing how the information flows in a retail distribution channel, the importance of making strategies or decisions to the business based from information and data and not from intuition or instinct. Third is the retail information system, and lastly, the marketing research process. It is important to make decisions and strategies for our business based on information and data and not from gut instinct, because business is a serious matter. We should not make decisions based on our preferences, based on our feelings, because if we do this, we will get bad decisions and it is very dangerous for the business. So, as a retailer, manager, or owner of a business, we should rely on data, credible data, accurate data or information, so that we can make sound decisions and strategies that will make us competitive in the market. So there are a lot of stores that offers lip service for customer satisfaction, but it is said in this module that lip service do not empower employees. It doesn't mean that you perform good customer service by having no complaints or by not funding service guarantee programs because of cost considerations. A real service is based on having customers that is long term or loyal to you. A real service comes from the customer if they are loyal to you. If customers are loyal to you, to your business, they are satisfied. It means that they are satisfied with your service. And that is what is important in today's business, because loyal customers creates a continuous business, a growing business. Yeah. So, when a retailer sets a new strategy or modifies an existing one, gathering and analyzing information is crucial because it reduces the chances of wrong decisions. So, as I have said, it is important to rely on information so that we make sound decisions, because this information is already proven and it is more successful to make decisions based on information collected, because we forecast the what are the possible outcomes, what are the possible trends, what are the possible behaviors of customers in the future. So the firm can study the attributes and buying behavior of current and potential customers at our alternative store, non-store sites, store management, and etc. So these stated um, stated topics, these are the things that the retailer should consider before making decisions or strategies. So, a retailer should be informed but not overloaded. It is important that a retailer should be informed but not overwhelmed by the information he gets or he gathers. So this image illustrates the building and using of a retail information system. The retailer should examine, find information, and research about its external environment. And once he gathers the data from its environment, he can now then create its philosophy and objectives for its business. And he can now make strategic plan for it and then store that strategic plan in an information control center for it to be summarized, stored, and to be secured. And then when the strategic plans are stored, it is now transferred to the retail operation so that strategic plans are implemented. And that's how the information flows in a retail channel. And then the retail operations now give information to the information control center by the buying behavior of customers, sales, etc. And now that information from retail operations is stored in a data warehouse and then is used for strategic plans and is used for the retailer's philosophy and objectives for the changing revision of the retailer's philosophy and objectives. So database management. Database management, based on my own understanding, is the management of the data collected from the customers, from the business, from the suppliers, so that it will be organized, summarized, and so that the information should be secured. Data warehousing. Data warehousing is the process of collecting the data and putting it in a one place. This image illustrates the retail database management in action, where all the data and information is stored to the data warehouse and the information is disseminated to customers, channel partners, executives, and other company employees. The executives and other company employees uses this information from data warehouse for data mining. Data mining is the finding of value from the information and then using that valuable information for micro marketing to customers. On the other hand, customers receives information from the data warehouse, for example, knowing the updates in their parcel, and channel partners acquires information from data warehouse, for example, knowing what products are hot and what is not, meaning the channel partners get to know what products are in demand and what is not. So, and the channel partners and executives and other company employees disseminate information to one another also. The fundamental attributes of a data warehouse are subject-oriented. Subject-oriented means that the information gathered in a data warehouse only includes the supplies, the sales, inventory, etc., or the customer informations, and doesn't includes information related to competitors. Integrated means that all the data are put into one place. All the data is combined together and is not separate to one another. The data is stored in a one place. Time variant This means that even though the data is 5 years ago, it is still stored in a data warehouse. So, history data is stored in a data warehouse securely. Non-volatile. This means that the data is not erased, does not deleted. The data is secured and cannot be deleted. Component data mining and micromarketing. Based on my own understanding, data mining is the usage of information from data warehouse for valuable purposes. The data is used for valuable purposes. For example, the data is used to gain insights about the customers, the products, competitors, so that the information gathered will be used for strategic purposes and decisions. Micro-marketing. Micro-marketing for me is the marketing of a product or service to a narrow scope of customers. Sometimes micro-marketing means personalized service, personalized marketing to each customers. In this 21st century, technology changed the way retailers operate. Because of technological advancement, retailers have the ability to gather and transfer information efficiently and quickly. UPC and EDI are the examples of technological innovations in gathering and transferring information. UPC, or Universal Product Code, can be seen on products, and it stores a lot of information relating to the product. And when scanned, there are a lot of information that is automatically stored in the computer. EDI, on the other hand, is an electronic data interchange wherein one business can transfer its information to another business efficiently through the use of technology or computer. So these are the devices or the methods in which the gathering of information become efficient nowadays.
The market research process. Market research in retailing entails the collections and analysis of informations relating to specific issue or problem facing a retailers. The market research process involves 6 steps. Define issue or problem to be researched, examine secondary data, generate primary data, analysis data, make recommendations, and implement findings. The market research process is to define the problem while taking the purpose of the study, the relevant background information, what information is needed, and how it will be used in decision making. This stage involves decisions to with the decision makers, like interview, to the experts analysis of secondary data, and to the perhaps of some qualitative research such as a focusing of group. Issue and problems are somewhat similar words since they are both referred to the challenges, situations, or matter. The main difference between issue and problem is that issue is an important topic or problem for market research process or discussion, whereas problem is harmful and unwelcome matter or situations that need to be dealt with. All truth, issue, and problem can be used to the interchangeability in some contexts. There is a clear demarcation between the two. Secondary data analysis involves a researcher using the information that someone else has gathered for his or her own purposes, secondary data analysis in an attempt to answer a new research questions or to examine an alternative perspective or original question to the previous studies. Primary data is collected to address the specific issue or problem under the research study. Advantage of secondary data. Some of secondary data, it can help to save effort and expenses. It is time savings. It helps to make primary data collection more specific since with the help of the secondary data, we are able to make out what are the gaps and the differences and what additional information need to be collected. And also, it can help to apply the data like assembly. It's expensive like to gather quickly on how to promote your product or services that can result usually quick or credible to the retailer have only idea on the topic on investigation that what need to apply in this process. Disadvantage of secondary data. Secondary data is not an specific to the researcher need due to the facts that is was collected in the past for another reason. That is why the secondary data might be unreliable for the current needs. Secondary data sources can give you a huge amounts of information, but quantity does not always means that appropriateness because they have been collected for another reason. And some disadvantage of secondary data must know that the data must be carefully reviewed, and then the data sources are know on how to collect the methods and should be avoid for study or applicable for the sources of informations. Sources of data. Internal or in-house data is a secondary information acquired with the organization where the research is being carried out, while external secondary data is obtained from the outside sources. The two major advantages of using secondary data in market research are time and cost savings. Primary data advantage. Some common advantage of the primary data are its authenticity, specific and up-to-date informations, while secondary data is very cheap and not time-consuming. Primary data is a very reliable because it usually objective and collected directly from the original sources, and also they are collected to the retailer for the specific purposes or informations about the advantage of primary data. Disadvantage. The advantage of primary data is the cost and times of the data collection, while secondary data may be outdated or irrelevant. Primary data occurred must cost and take time because of the process involved in carry out of primary research. Normally, more expensive to obtain the secondary data. To gather the informations about time consuming or information to acquired by the individual firms by collected of perspective limited informations. Sources. There are many sources and types of secondary data. The major distinctions are between internal and external sources. Internal secondary data are available with the company, sometimes from the data banks of a retail information system. Survey. Informations are systematically gathered from the respondent by communicating with them. Surveys are used to many retail settings in a low-case, interactive manner. Survey shoppers and encourage them to share their experience through an interactive device to learn how satisfied customers and what their attitudes are various subjects. The systematic difference. Systematics difference is a listening adjective is a survey format that may be distinguished or non-distinguished a respondent as to rate ones or more retailer to the several criteria, each evaluated by adjectives. Observations. The forms of research is which represents behaviors or the results of past behavior are noted and recorded is known as observations. Because people are not questions, observation may not require respondents' cooperations, and survey are minimized. Observation may be used in real situations. experiments. An experiment is a type of research in which one or more elements of a retail strategy by manipulated under the control conditions. An element may be price, store hours, or something other, or want to find effect and price changes or sales only on items is varied. Elements like locations, quantity, price effective is measures. Stimulations we have two kinds are being applied in retail settings to those or mathematical models and those involving virtually reality.